Hey, what is up, guys? Pete back with my good buddy,
Shio.
And we are here with episode 3.2 of the Metal Tongue Podcast, your bonus episode this week, where we are discussing everything Access related with Download. So for those of you who don't know, this is dedicated to all the people suffering with disabilities and feel within that realm of needing a bit of extra help to get to a festival.
Yeah, downloading anxiety emergency guide incoming.
There we are. That's what it's called. Downloading anxiety emergency guide. Fuck. I've really messed that up, haven't I? Let's just leave it at that, Stu. Let's get right into it. So, first things first. Every year, Download release an accessibility guide, don't they, Stu?
They do release an accessibility guide.
And this year's is currently out and available.
Yeah. So any of you that do have of any form of the access in your package for Download, whether it's just parking, whether it's camping, or whether it's just having that access wristband to help you with queues and things like that. Because some people do normal camp with access.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guide is out. It's got everything you need to know in it. So I suppose in this podcast episode, we're just going to kind of cover the bits that we're familiar with, because disclaimer, we're not pros. Pete has more knowledge on accessibility side of things than I do. But we're just going to kind of talk through some of our own experiences with our partners, wives, whatever you want to call them. And, we'll just cover bits like that, our own experiences, because not every disability is visible.
Absolutely.
And then you've also kind of got those who, you can see that they need help. So,
yeah, I mean, just a bit of background. I used to actually sell Motability products. Actually, yes, I did sell Motability products for those of you who are on Motability, but I also sold mobility products as well for just general need and stuff like that. I did that for a number of years before my current job. So that really enlightened me, and that was all prior to my wife being disabled. And Stu's wife is also disabled as well, both blue badge holders. And to be perfectly frank, without the accessibility options at Download, the festival wouldn't be possible for them anymore. So this is a subject close to our hearts. Yeah, we don't know everything, but I think we're quite switched on to things in terms of what we've observed and what have you.
Yeah, we've only camped once in accessibility.
Exactly, that was last year.
But, we have used parts of accessibility, I suppose, before. But I think it was more to do with the wives wanted to be with a group of friends. But I think, it's just that walk back to camp, it was just too much. And
it's
learning
brutal.
From the accessibility camp that we did last year was so glorious. It was so much better for them. They could still enjoy their afternoons, and they just,
It was truly fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose the thing we should start off with, you've got 2 Access campsites this year. That's the first time Download have ever done it. So you've got Access Camp A, which is where everyone who applied right away. Because if you don't know as well, Download this year had an unprecedented amount of Access customers applying. Access campsites are normally full. However, they actually had to close the Access applications early this year, because the demand was just absolutely nuts. So that's good. It means Download are doing the right things. It means it's a festival people want to go to who have these needs, which does show that they are doing good things. I mean, they haven't always got it right. I know there've been issues in the past.
There's been so many issues in the past, but they're getting things right.
They learn from it, don't they?
They do.
That's one thing. I mean, last year, for example, I actually sent them an email to say that how well they did.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely thought it was fantastic, and it looks like they're doing pretty much the same thing again this year. So I haven't read the Access Guide this year.
I've not gone through it in detail. I normally spend a couple of bits looking through it, but I've not gone through it in too much length. But I have got the accessibility side on my phone right now, so we can kind of make sure we tick certain areas off as we kind of talk about them, but also add in our own experiences dealing with it. If we haven't got experience in dealing with it, we'll obviously be open and say. But we will discuss.
It's the best thing to do, just to go from the start, Stu. So obviously you get directed to the Purple Gate. Is it still the Purple Gate, Stu?
Yeah, I believe so. The Purple Car Park.
Purple, yeah. So you go in there. If you're in Access Camp, as we said, we did start talking about Access Camp A, didn't we? There's 2 Access Camps: Access Camp A and there's Access Camp B. Access Camp B is over toward Black Camp, just on the other side of it. So it's got really good access to the village. However, access to the arena is a bit of a walk.
Yeah.
And they will have contacted you about that if that's an issue for you. Access Camp A has its own dedicated access to the arena.
Yeah.
But I'm going ahead of myself now. So
Yeah, and
on arrival, you arrive in.
Yeah.
You're given your pass. You should receive your pass very soon if you haven't received it already. If you haven't received it a week before the festival,
I believe it states what car park you're in as well on the pass.
it does. Yeah, cool. So if you haven't received it already, probably by the time it says, I'd give them an email, give them a call just to make sure.
They have a window, don't they? They normally say if you haven't used
Exactly.
it in this frame of time, please contact XYZ.
If you haven't heard a week before, I would suggest being a bit more thing, which is probably when a lot of people are going to listen to this. It's going to be coming up to that kind of line. So if you haven't received it and you're expecting it, I would just give them a little nudge. Just check it's been sent out, check your addresses, it's going to the right place, all that kind of thing.
We've had friends that have had the wrong addresses or previous addresses down. It happens. We know it happens. And I know my wife dreads filling out forms, so I do a lot of that for her, but I know how much pressure that is for someone to fill in a form like that. You know, especially with some medications, your memory goes, you just can't remember certain things.
Exactly.
So, you know, I can sympathise with that a lot. But, you know, if you are doing something like that, just make sure you've got someone to help you. You know, but yeah, just chase those things up. Yeah, so you'll end up on obviously the campsite.
So you go into a holding pen, don't you, on arrival? So at least we're going to go from what's happened in previous years. Our access campsite is limited to last year, where it was fantastic. But we were held in a pen for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then around 11 o'clock, I would say, 10:30, we were probably let onto the campsite. So we drove onto the campsite. It was slightly confusing, but we were pointed in directions.
Yeah, the stewards are decent, but they're also learners in the first couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same. We didn't actually touch on in the normal download episode, actually. Everyone learns on site.
Yeah.
You do find, even no matter
the
how
stewards don't deserve the crap that some of them get. But
no, and some of them do. Some of them deserve some
there's the odd one or
pretty
two,
bad stuff. But so last year they had a sniffer dog going around who was more sniffing for bombs and that kind of stuff, because obviously you're driving onto site. Because of the type of medication that people bring on as well, if you are staying in Access Camp A, you drive onto site. If you're Access Camp B, you're in West Campsite Access, so you won't be dropped off from your pitch. But A, you can do that as long as you're there early enough. They will shut that off at some point when it's deemed to be not safe. But the way that works, you drive onto site, you park, you get allocated somewhere near to park, and then you unload, you drive off and park in your campsite. But what normally happens, you've normally got a couple of people with you at that point, so you drag your stuff over, then you move your car, go and park, and then just like that, really. It's quite straightforward, it's quite simple. The dog squad have loads of people on site. The dog squad are the official helpers download. They work 4 shifts over 5 days, I think 4 8-hour shifts over 5 days to get free tickets to the festival, basically,
or a free day, or next year, something like that. There's some form of scheme.
So they do, and they are fantastic. And you know, I did see some difficult customers last year, or some customers who were expressing
Their needs.
difficulties, and I have to say, I've heard it before outside of the Access Camp. Access Camp manager was getting involved, helping people out. Absolutely fantastic.
And some of unforeseen circumstances can't be avoided.
No, exactly.
You know.
And Download are pretty open to that, aren't they? I mean, I said in the last episode, or episode 2, I should say, about the Venga Boys being a bit of a shit show. It wasn't particularly safe and it wasn't particularly great.
No.
But they learned from that, and they put measures in place for the next night, so they're very much an adaptive festival. So if they don't get things right, they do try
and act on it as quick as possible.
Busted, no one could get in the tent, and a lot of the access platform was full in the tent. That will happen at the festival if there's a busy band. If there's a band you need to be on the access platform for, desperately get there early, because it's not great that you can't access the festival in the same way. But
the queues outside for President and the access
it was mental. And exactly the same for Parkway Drive.
We were there for what, a band ahead of time. So
we were there early.
When we got in, we weren't even in the access platform.
No, because it was already full, wasn't it? So
and they were turning people away. So it was just insane. So get there early. That's where you're gonna have to sacrifice some bands. Unfortunately, if you don't want to sacrifice that band, you're gonna have to sacrifice your viewing platform.
Exactly.
Even if you do have access to it, doesn't mean you're gonna get on it, because there's so many people that need that as well.
Absolutely. talking about access platforms, they've moved the access platform for the second stage,
Yeah, I did
the open
notice
stage.
that, yeah.
So that's now on the far side of the stage, which is a good thing probably from a stage bleed sort of point of view, because I know
Yeah.
the right hand side of the stage could hear main stage over second stage, but from an actual distance point of view, it's probably going to be a bit of a nightmare for people, I would have
Yeah.
thought, because it's not much further, but it's enough.
I think it'll also help move the crowd out faster as well.
Quite possibly, yes.
Because
yeah.
obviously they've got to funnel through that
narrow bit. Yeah, you're
that
probably
narrow
right.
bit. So that might actually help with that. So maybe there is a bigger reason for that as well.
The toilets are all pretty decent.
The toilets are great. Again, I know we touched on the little podcast we just did a minute ago. Be respectful, be mindful. Obviously, if you're in the accessibility camp with, you're allowed to have, I think, you and 3 others with you. I think
Yeah,
you can count.
so it's a camp of
4
4.
of you.
And minus any children, because I think children can come as well.
Depending
if
on the age.
under 12. When I
Yeah.
say a children's ticket can come with
Yeah.
you, can't they?
Just be mindful of what facility you are using. If there's an extra wide toilet, if it's the only one there, then that's fair enough. But just be mindful if there's 6 toilets there and there's one large one. Don't think, I'm going to go for the roomy one. If you've got no disability, because there's people that are going to need that. And again, if you are a person that wants to shower, but you've got IBS or something like that, so you might need to go to the toilet in the morning as well. There are the wide showers that do have the toilet in them. I think
Yeah.
they're coming back as well, so they've got the toilet and the shower, which is great because, I help my wife, so when she goes in the shower, obviously, if she needs a toilet, she can quickly jump on the toilet and then have a shower, and I can help her with that. But bring flip-flops. That's probably one of my tips, because obviously if you're walking in an environment where there's a toilet and there's a floor and you've got showers.
That's more on the camping side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more on the camping
It's
side of
worth-
things. But yeah, just bring flip-flops to that, because obviously if you're showering and there's a toilet as well, just for the hygiene reasons. I'm not saying there's just going to be urine everywhere, but you just don't know. But play it safe, bring flip-flops. And in the arena side of things, yeah, the same with those toilets,
Yeah, just be respectful.
Just be respectful, yeah. There are changing rooms as well, I believe, for those
Yes,
who
there are.
do need them. There are people that need them, and they are there. And I believe the stewards are really fantastic with some of the ones. I think some of them that might need access into the room. I think there's
They've got hoists and everything in these
Hoists,
rooms
yeah.
as well. They are properly kitted out for the most delicate of disabilities
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One thing that we probably won't cover in this, unfortunately, is the camping access. The camper van access.
Yes, we've got no
experience with that.
and no knowledge.
Don't
on that.
profess to either.
And we're not going to lie to you. So
No.
No.
In terms of like showers and what have you for in the actual access campsite, again, we're talking about access campsite A. B's going to have some of these facilities like
Yeah.
charging and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I don't know exactly how that's going to work. So we'll just talk about general and what they've normally done.
It's also important to remember as well, with the access campsites, you have your own merch stall.
Yep.
You've got your own Fat Franks, I believe.
Yep. Own Fat Franks. That'll be in campsite A only though,
yeah.
because the campsite black campsite's got its own
Yes,
pretty much Fat Franks
yeah.
is in the village. So.
And then you've got food as well and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there's great facilities. I thought it was fantastic. I don't shower at Download, but there were showers for people, able-bodied people. So
Yep, I
if my
showered
wife
over.
wasn't showering, I would jump into one of the abled ones, because normally me and my wife would share a shower, so I could help her along the way. But with the ones where the flooring was horrible because it was all metal grating, but they were great temperature. Couldn't argue with it.
Absolutely.
It was fantastic, and I loved showering. I'm converted, Peter, as you know.
Yeah.
Years I would just do the wet wipe credit card clean. But now I'm converted. I'd love a good shower
fantastic.
in the morning. It's starting your day so right.
And the showers they're not hot, but they're not
warm
cold.
enough, yeah,
they're warm enough. I would say, I know we touched on showers in a previous podcast for general Download, but they are warmer for the access campsite. It's worth noting there might be small queues.
Yeah, just earlier the better, I would say. If you can get up earlier, unfortunately, if you have a difficulty getting up earlier, then unfortunately that is the case. But if you can get there earlier, maybe help with the queues as well by just getting there earlier.
The one thing I would say is that the showers are 24/7, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Or not obviously not 7, but they're open all day,
Yeah.
all night. Rather than editing the small child out, apologies, that is my son Caleb, who will not be attending Download Festival this year, but possibly next year.
Yeah.
He's just playing.
He's vocalising his love for
Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Either that or
form of
Transformers.
metal, Transformers. Yeah.
Side note, He has discovered Linkin Park this week because of the Transformers songs, and he is there singing New Divide and not Somewhere I Belong. I always say Somewhere I Belong. It's not that one. It's What I've Done.
What I've Done, yeah.
Constantly on repeat, going to the beach. Those two songs on repeat.
Yeah.
Do my head in.
So if you can't hear him in the background, because we're touching on such serious stuff, we don't want to miss anything.
No.
So it's just easier just to run with the flow. And he's vocalising himself, so let him be.
Yeah.
You know, just on that then, obviously all these things that we've kind of discussed, you can find on the Access map. There is a specific map for the Access side of things.
It's worth looking at the download map as well. Hopefully you've listened to the previous episode if you listen to this, but I would say it's also very vital that you actually listen to the other podcast, because everything applies. That we've touched on, meeting points, very important.
Yes, how to find your friends.
Exactly, because your PA is going to be with you most of the time if you've got a PA. But at the same time, you know, me and Stu are playing wife swap for an evening.
Yeah, and that's where the PA thing helps, because we're both PAs. So.
Yeah, we are both
and our
PAs.
wives' disabilities are similar, so we know what we're looking out for.
But also it means that we can both go and see the bands we want to go and see as well, so it works out really beneficially, and we're lucky to be in that position. But also PAs need to be there for you.
They're not just there for free.
No, absolutely not.
Yes, it's lovely to have that free ticket. It helps me with costs, but at the end of the day I'm there to help my wife. You know, I'm quite lucky I got a good group of friends that also chip in as well, so it takes that pressure off me. But you know, we've got to look out for each other. But yeah, you are there to assist, not to bugger off and leave them in the dirt.
No,
I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can have a free ticket if you just help me set up." Setting up's nothing.
No. I mean, it is quite a big deal.
It is, but you don't think about the rest of the whole weekend, you know.
One thing I will say is Download are quite strict on it, and if they do find out you haven't been PAing as you should, they can kick you off site, and they can also refuse that person an access ticket in the future as well. So don't abuse it. Treat it respectfully, like you do with everyone else. You know.
And again, you know,
everyone. It's worth noting as well. Just sorry to cut you up, Stu, but everyone who's in access has been assessed that they need to be in access as well. No one wants any of this disability chop trumps. We're both part of
and this is the thing, as I was just going to say again, not every disability is visible.
No.
You can play all the cards you want. Oh, I've got this, I've got that. My cat's blacker than your cat. At the end of the day, we're all there together. And we're all there just to make things a little bit easier for ourselves as well, because it's just, you know, when you start doing things like that, you know, it becomes quite horrendous. There's a leather settee, by the way, if you can hear noises. It's a leather settee.
It's not leather.
I'm going to blame Caleb in the other room.
It's not leather. It's faux leather.
Faux leather, anyway. Faux leather. But anyway, you know, and then to touch on that as well, when an experience that my wife had, she didn't bring a stick one year, because she thought she'd be brave, which was a big mistake on her part. And she went into the she had a bracelet on to say that she was allowed to be in the access lanes. So for all of you that aren't aware, all the bars, all the stalls, and I think the food vendors, because they did it at Slam Dunk.
Last year as well, they had Download. They had access lanes. They didn't all have them out last year at Download, but if you just go to the front of the lines, it's part of the agreement. I think,
and they've got stickers to know what access you've got.
Absolutely.
So you know there are access lanes. So don't be a fool and wait in a normal queue. We did that for the Megastore, because we didn't know there was an access route.
I will say though, sometimes actually the access queue is longer than the normal queue, especially for the Megastore.
But,
or not the Megastore, sorry, the merch.
The merch store, yes.
The one next to fourth stage, which is right at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a nightmare. The disability lane isn't always the best. Also, the access lane isn't always the best.
Yeah, true, very true. So yeah, obviously with the access lanes, my wife was stood in the access lane, and someone come up to her and went, "Oh, you shouldn't be in there." And she just lifted up her arm and went, "Yes, I am." So, you know, if you see someone in an act, it doesn't mean they're not. Yeah. So just be mindful. If you do see someone you think that's fucking wrong, you know, maybe just say something. But also, that might be their PA. So also have a look at their wrist, see if they've got a PA wrist band on.
Obviously, that I don't use the access lanes. If I'm going up as a PA, I would leave that generally.
Yeah, but I might hold a spot for Kate if she's gone to the toilet or something.
And that's different. Yeah, that's different then, isn't it?
You know, if the queue's massive and she's like, I'm going to go to the toilet, she might nip to the toilet, absolutely. Or, you know, sit down off the side somewhere, which she does quite often. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If she's not visibly there.
Yeah. No. You don't have to justify it to me.
But I know what you mean.
You don't have to justify it to me. One thing I would say is be nice to everyone. Be kind to everyone, you know.
Especially the stewards, because they're just, again, some of them
do their best.
Some of them are just trying their hardest. You know, they've got, as much information as they can. Some of them don't get the right information. Sometimes it gets mixed,
It can be quite frustrating. And
Yeah.
if you've got some diversities, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
You will be slightly frustrated sometimes by the lack of knowledge from people. But Download is an evolving, moving site. And it's not a business in the sense of they have the same people every year. They have the same core people organising it who know the festival inside out. But a lot of these people are just hired for the weekend.
Yeah.
And they're paid. They go around and do all the festivals. So, there's only one time where I've heard something completely outrageous. And that was when it was on the final night of 2023, three, I think.
I don't know,
And
yeah.
where there was a disability lane, and Jazz cut through to there, saying she was disabled, an Access customer, and then one of the security said to act more disabled then, which she was quite embarrassed about, and then didn't tell me until like 20 seconds later, where I marched back up with him, and the guy was like, where are you going, and I was like, he's just... Yeah, so that's the only time I've ever been belligerent, because that is discrimination.
That's so disrespectful.
And if
as well.
he wasn't wearing his number, if he's wearing his number, I would have reported to the police, and they would have escorted him off site. I did go and speak to the police about it, because that is absolutely disgusting.
And on that note as well, there are sensory calm places. I think in the arena,
everywhere,
in the campsite, in the village. I've walked past loads of them.
I don't think they have them in the campsite.
Not the campsite. Sorry,
but in the village.
In the village. Yeah. Sorry.
District X.
Yeah. So, these spaces are to be used. So if you do find yourself, in that headspace where you're not comfortable and you do think something, you might just have an episode, or you might just feel
overstimulated.
Overstimulated, that's the one, yeah. And you just need that, that time to yourself. They have these spaces, and I'm not one to use them, but I've looked at them and I think they're fantastic.
Samaritans are also on site as well, aren't they? Which we probably should have touched on the last podcast, to be fair. But I think they're in the village, and they're always super helpful.
They're always there
people.
to talk, even for generic chit chat.
Yeah.
And so just remember the sensory places. Yeah, so it does say in the arena and in District X, you can't find that space, and just, it's just calm and just get back in game, get focused, ready for your next adventure.
One thing that you probably haven't put down, I do want to cover, is the any mobility equipment you might be bringing.
Yeah, true.
One thing I would say, if you're bringing a scooter,
faster, scooter.
If you're bringing your own scooter, not seeing the scooter, just bear in mind it's going to be muddy. Unless you're buying a specialist off-road scooter, they are not designed for said things. I know you said you saw a really good scooter with like a boot on the back. That's likely to be a TGA. They're not designed for it. They'll do 20 miles, 8 mile an hour, whatever. They're not designed for that mud, and you can burn out your motors really quickly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know a lot of you will have these scooters through Motability, or just pay for it privately. And motors aren't cheap. And I haven't worked in disability shop for a number of years now, but going back 3 or 4 years, we would charge around between £300 and £600 for a new motor, which is a lot of money for some people. That's 2 Download festival tickets, potentially. So it's worth checking if you need it to bring it for Download, but also if the weather's bad, can you survive without it when you get home? Because if you are spending that money and you need it for the festival, can you cope with it when you get home? Because I know you can hire, but equally it's expensive. And I do feel sorry for anyone in that situation, because my wife, she could use a scooter, but she uses a power chair through choice. We won't take that to Download though, because it's just not practical.
Not ideal,
it's not practical, and she's got me to help her. She's got her walking sticks and other walking aids and stuff. So,
and as you've touched on that, Pete, I think it's a great kind of diversion there. There are rechargeable stations, I believe, for some specialised equipment. So if you've got certain equipment, they have got stations to charge these things up.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and they've got then campsite access campsite A and campsite access campsite B.
Yeah. So if you're worried about bringing equipment that needs charging, they do
charge it. Yeah,
they do have facilities.
The only thing I think they don't have facility for though is for a CPAP machine. If it needs to be plugged in, I don't know much about them.
No.
But I know I saw someone was asking if they can run power through it through the night, and I don't think you can for that.
Yeah.
They also do kettles for hot water bottles and stuff like that in the evenings, which is really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic because so you don't think about things like that,
No.
So it's brilliant. I would like to touch on as well. That Pete mentioned CPAP, and that made me think about sleeping. I found the accessibility camp quite quiet in comparison to even quiet camp because of the planes.
I found it noisier than Black Camp the previous year.
I found it quieter.
I did find people were up talking quite
No,
late.
the people were saying, but I found that the noise of the planes weren't as bad.
It wasn't as bad. No. I will agree with that
because you have people that go into quiet camp and then they whinge about the planes, and it's like you're next to an airport.
Yeah, in terms of plane noise, because you're not. It's worth knowing the planes fly directly over the circuit, and when I'm a bit of a plane guy, so when they're taking off in particular, they do bank and things, but when they come into land, they're a bit longer in. But yeah, in Access Camp, you're right. The ambient plane noise is much less than it is when you are on the north side of the circuit and Black and that side, because you're not under the engines. So yeah, but I did find, actually, talking wise, although Black Camp's right next to the village and what have you, I did find it way noisier last year, and it was like a couple of nights, it was a little bit frustrating. I was trying to get to sleep and people are there sort of like not shouting, but they're not also not talking quietly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people partying.
There are, but the general rule, there isn't a written rule, but general rule in Access Camp is midnight, you quiet down. That wasn't a fart, that was me going.
He's been picking on me in my chair. It's about time.
But yeah, the other thing I want to touch on, Stu, is medication.
I was just about to say, can we go touch on medication? Because you've got a personal relationship with medication.
Yeah,
and things like that. I will note as well that medical marijuana is noted on here. Medical marijuana prescribed for daily use may be brought into the event. So, you might have to bring proof of that.
You do. So any medication you bring on site, you have to have it in its original packaging.
Yeah.
If you put it into day pills, you won't be allowed to bring it on. They will. If you get caught with it, they might take it off you because they don't know what it is. So your medication has to stay within the prescription boxes with labelled. I'm diabetic. I'm on an insulin pump. Obviously, I can't have labelled insulin whilst it's on my arm, so to speak. So there is a little bit of leeway with that. When I think they mostly talk about tablets like that, because it's mostly drugs and tablets like that.
Yeah.
If you've got medical marijuana, think about where you're smoking it, because
there might be people that aren't tolerant to that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that could set people off. So that's a bit of it's a bit of a funny one, that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is allowed. In terms of, like I touched on insulin there, there are fridges in the Access campsite where you can leave your vials of insulin or your cartridges of insulin or your insulin pens, whatever you've got, or any other medication that needs to be kept cold. If you've got Oromorph or something like that and you don't want to get too hot in the tent or anything like that can't get too hot, there is secure fridges which are locked, and it can be a bit of a nightmare to get more out if you need to get more out for whatever reason. One thing I will note is the tents do get quite hot when it's nice weather.
Yeah. Even if it's not that nice, they still generate a lot of heat with bodies.
They do, yeah. So it's well worth keep insulin on you, spare insulin on you, but also keep some sort of like in the fridge because on site, because if it does go off, it does start to go off. Anything else?
As you mentioned about the diabetic things, obviously there's times where you might need that extra boost.
That's the point, yeah.
So what would you, as a diabetic
advice, yes,
have planned in place, and from experience then, because we can't cover a lot of disabilities, but from your experience, what would you do?
So download diabetic advice. This can be its own little chapter. I would say I pack enough insulin for 2 weeks, which seems excessive, but they're for 5 days. So if I've got 5 days lot almost, so when I say 2 weeks, I mean 14 days. I am now on vials. As I said, I'm on an insulin pump. Therefore, I would probably take 4 vials of insulin with me. I know that is overkill, and I'm fully aware it's overkill.
Better be prepared
exactly,
than underprepared.
Exactly. I'll have one vial. I say I'll bring 4 vials with me. They won't be full vials. I'll have my one that I'm using currently, and I'll keep that on me. Then I'll have the other 3 in the fridge. In the Access campsite. If you are staying in general campsite, if you go to the
Megalodon tent.
the medical tent, they have a fridge, or if you just go to the general information tent, they'll be able to point you in the right direction. It's slightly different every year, but they'll be able to keep medication in a fridge for you. What they ask you to do is
it's a welfare tent, I think.
They ask you to write your name, a number down. Again, I've always taken it in a prescription bag because I just think it's easier. You know, if it's a task, it's obviously a prescription bag. You write your name and number on it. I keep my prescription tag on it. It goes in the fridge and then don't worry about it. But I also keep enough on me to sort of like that I'm not desperate, if that makes sense. So when I was on pens, I would have 2 or 3 cartridges with me, or 2 or 3 pens with me on disposable pens. And then vial wise, I probably have, depending how much is in my vial, I'd have enough for the festival on me vial wise.
Yeah.
In terms of then balancing that with the glucose, is whatever is best if you. Haribo and sweets are terrible because they melt.
Yeah.
So if you're there unpacking your tent, you're doing stuff, or you're chilling in the nice sunshine that we might have, or rain, whatever, it still gets hot in the tent. And I've heard countless times when Haribo bottle, it congeals into one mat, and it's really difficult then. So the best glucose tablets are the ones with the caps on, and they're like discs.
Yeah.
They're fantastic because they stay fresh. They don't go hard like the Dextro tablets do. And yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but we're talking about the difference between 40 and 90p. It's not the end of the world. Well worth it. And again, I would bring enough for sort of like 2-3 hypos a day, because you never know what's going to happen.
No.
If you've never camped in like festival setting before, it's just worth having that extra. When you're doing your insulin, just remember you are doing way more exercise than you normally would, probably.
Yeah, you're getting so many steps in.
Exactly.
You might be in the mosh pits.
And heat as well.
Travelling from stages, yeah.
Yeah. So it might be 17 degrees, but 17 degrees outside and walking, you're using a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And, so it's just being aware of that, having enough on you. I'm not sure if we need medical exemptions this year. Last year we got it and no one ever checked it. So you are allowed to take in more food than it says in the lines. You're also allowed to take a bit more drink in as well. So just be prepared for every eventuality.
Yeah, so as I've got that open now, it says accessibility customers are permitted to bring additional food in excess of the usual amount. Obviously, in the normal amount, it says small. So obviously you're allowed to bring a bit more in.
Yeah.
And obviously that applies to your disability and stuff like that. And as well, same as drink. Accessibility customers are permitted to bring one sealed unopened bottle of 1.5 litres of water or soft drink into the arena. Yeah,
so I mean, so in previous years, I bought glucose tablets. Last year I brought cans of Coke because I personally find cans of Coke quite useful, either the small ones or the bigger ones. Because when I'm at a festival, yes, the normal mini cans are great when you're at home having a hyper, but when you're in a festival and you're doing lots of exercise, actually having that extra kick of sugar might not be the worst thing in the world. And a lot of people know, I know when I've had enough. I might have half of that can. Yes, okay, I've wasted half a can. But in terms of security with cans, because they don't like you taking cans in, they want you to take bottles in.
Yeah.
Slightly ironic, you buy cans on site. But anyway, I just say I'm diabetic and I've never had an issue taking a can in.
Yeah.
I've said that now, I'm going to have an issue this year. But generally, you say you're diabetic and people treat you with a barge pole because they don't want that lawsuit if something does go wrong.
Because you've had a bad experience at Download one year. Because I generally thought you were drunk. I thought you were.
Oh, yeah.
We were walking back to camp and I think it was when we were...
No, we walked... So this was 2018 and we were camping in Quiet Camp. This is pre-disability era, Stu and Pete. And in 2018... It was the last time Guns N' Roses played, actually.
Oh.
I tried to be... We were Quiet Camp, and Quiet Camp is the same place it was now, but the village was the other side of the circuit. So we had a 45-minute walk, and it was on the Wednesday, and we'd set up camp, and we were like, let's go into the village and have see where it is. And I thought, it's not that far, fine. So we were going to get food. Me being the clever dick I was, I thought, all right, I can do my insulin now. I might be on the low side when I get in, but... There goes Caleb. But... I'll be fine, sort of like thing. Anyway, walking in, and this ties in well with the medical marijuana, actually. We got in sort of 3/4 of the way, didn't we? And we were going around the last kind of couple of corners, and then someone was smoking some very strong cannabis, and my brain shut down. I completely shut down with the low blood sugars.
Me and our friend Sam that was with us that year, we generally looked at Pete and were like, has he been drinking without us knowing? Has he been like
For those of you who don't
having
know,
beers? Yeah,
I don't drink at all.
yeah. Pete's teetotal, nothing.
Straight edge, yeah.
Yeah, straight edge. No drugs, no drink. So we were like, why is he like this? And obviously his wife Jasmine was a bit on the nose and knew exactly what more was going on.
We don't live together like sort of like
Yeah.
literally a year, pretty much to the month
So
almost.
she was reactive and behaving correctly, and me and Sam were like, we have no idea what to do because we were unsure if you were just pissed.
I mean, I don't remember any. So there was a stall that used to come to town called Easy Cheesy, Easy Cheesy, which was like burgers with cheese, and she just got me sat down and sort of through, and I came round. That's the only time in my 20 years of being diabetic I've ever blacked out from being hypo. But sort of in my current job now, I work not in conjunction, not anymore, but I kind of work near some drug people, and they seem to think that cannabis was laced with spice, because it was when spice was legal. So I also had a weird tick that every time I had low blood sugar for the next 6 months, I was twitching, which was really weird. Yeah, so it does affect your body. Again, so that's why I was saying probably be careful when you smoke it. Obviously, no, you're not going to know that if you do partake in the devil's lettuce, but
No lettuce. Trust me, I've partaken in my time. It ain't lettuce. I wouldn't say I've grown out of it. I've just moved on from it.
But on that, I mean, I can't give any advice about drinking a download with diabetes because I don't drink.
No.
But just be careful. Just be sensible.
Yeah, I would say on the side of drinking and accessibility, know your limits, because if you do have a
Know your
condition,
limits and back them off a bit.
Yeah, pull them back because the heat will affect you. And just be mindful, that what you're drinking, make sure you're drinking just as much water.
One thing that's worth saying as well, probably from a diabetic point of view, if you do run out of Coke or something like that, or, you run out of glucose tablets, you can get sugar on site. It's a little bit more tricky sometimes because of the whole sugar tax stuff, which is great on when your bloods are normal, but it's a bit of a pain in the ass if you're trying to get sugary drinks. You can kind of cut lines and just say, look, I'm really sorry, I'm diabetic, can I just buy a can of Pepsi? The site is sponsored by Pepsi, which is great because Pepsi Max is lush and the best. But yeah, just you can kind of cut lines and be a little bit cheeky if you've got a valid reason.
Yeah. There is also the co-op on
there is the co-op, but that's in the village. Yeah, the co-op's in the village.
Be mindful. There is the co-op. It might be a bit pricey. I think you can get cheaper stuff if you've got a card.
You can if you're a membership card. Yeah.
Please make sure you get the membership card because you save a lot of money.
Yeah, and they also do meal deals as well, which is worth knowing.
Which is handy. But on the note of bringing extra food, extra drink in, make sure you bring your sun cream in. Make sure you bring your ponchos in. You might need a bigger bag for that if you've got to have more food and more drink for an accessibility customer. You can bring a bigger bag. The normal size is A4, but accessibility customers can bring a bigger bag in.
Bigger bag. And it doesn't specify how big that bag is.
It does not.
We just go for a normal rucksack. I've got my lovely State of the Seat rucksack.
Plug.
Shameless plug.
Might be a plug every episode.
No, we didn't do one last one.
Do we not?
No, I don't think so. Oh, you did. You did the plug for me.
I think so.
But yeah, so I don't think there's anything else I can cover with the diabetes side. Just be prepared for twice of what you think you need. And yes, it's a bit of a pain in the backside because you're bringing loads more stuff, but better safe than sorry.
It is, yeah, it is. And like you said, you're going to burn so much more calories and you're going to be doing so much more walking. So
just on a side note,
your own body might completely different.
What led me on my journey to my insulin pump started at Download, where I was injecting. I was on NovaRapid at the time, actually, and diabetics will know this, but my bloods were getting a bit funny, so I'd stopped taking my slow-acting insulin, which for anyone medical is going to be like, oh, why'd you do that? But I did tell nurse anyway. I got referred to the hospital, whatever. That was all after. But I was doing one injection of NovaRapid a day, and this is my fast-acting insulin. So I did that sort of like in the evening, and I literally had 3 days where I didn't do any insulin at all, and my blood sugars didn't go above 10 for all of those days, and it was absolutely wild. I didn't have loads of hypos either. It was like being not diabetic again, really strange. And then when I got back to camp, I had that like last bit of food before bed, like I used to have to do pre-pump. That's when things. So I was like, after that, I was like, I've had this issue, and then I got referred back up to the hospital after a number of years, and then eventually onto an insulin pump, which has been a bit of a life changer. But yeah, that was really weird. That was 2023 again. It was our last year in. No, it wasn't our last year in normal camping. 2024 was. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, it just highlights how much activity and exercise you actually do. And download,
Yeah.
and that is not to be undertaken, especially with insulin, taking it artificially. It is something to be mindful of, the amount of exercise, the amount of heat. Because the one thing is even it's been hot this weekend, I've not done any extra insulin. But download, I will. Any less insulin, I should say. I've been on my normal amount of insulin. Whereas download, I'll probably go down quite a bit. I think that pretty much covers it, doesn't it?
I just want to read through some bits on you, just to cover
you go
some
for
extra
it.
bits.
You go for it.
that
I've
we
talked
haven't
enough for this.
personally covered in. So, obviously, if you're camping in Accessibility Camp A, it is important to remember that if you do have any issues walking up and down slopes and hills, make sure you mention that to any of the stewards, and they will try and ensure that you are on flatter ground. They can't guarantee it, but they will ensure that you are on flatter ground. Pete is making the noise this time.
I'm sorry.
It's normally me making the noise,
it is.
chomping away on something. Accessibility Campsite B is located at the far west entrance next to the black campsite, as Peter's mentioned. There is an internal transport from this campsite to Accessibility Campsite A.
Interesting.
So I believe...
Yeah, so what I think they're doing is they're giving different Access Campsite wristbands.
Yeah.
But if you meet up with Colin Farmer every year at Download and you want to still hang at each other's tents, you still can do that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So you can go across into mix between the two different campsites.
Yeah.
You just can't choose which campsite you are. You are pre-allocated to those campsites. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but you might. I did see a rumour they were going to allocate wristbands on arrival.
It's going to be quite difficult, but
We'll work it out. They'll work it out.
But so it is important to remember there is transport available. I believe there's transport from most of the areas, like to the campsite A to the village, because it was last year.
There definitely is.
There isn't any from campsite A to the arena because the entrance is right there, which is such a beauty.
When we say right there, campsite A has its dedicated solo access to the
I could
arena.
throw Pete's insulin at the entrance.
You could have thrown it over the entrance into the arena.
Yeah, that's how close we were.
It's amazing.
And then also just to mention, we've covered quite a lot of the stuff that's mentioned in here, so well done, Pete. You've got good knowledge on some of this stuff. There is a bit of a thing on gazebos. We aim to accommodate as many customers as possible in the accessibility campsite. To assist us with this, please be aware of the following. Please be respectful of the following campers and only bring tents appropriate for the size of your party. You'll be permitted to camp with a maximum of 3 other people, so that's 4 including yourself. You must be asked to move or remove your gazebo if it is taking up too much space. So that's worth mentioning.
It is worth mentioning.
Get a small square one, I would say, that you can fit slightly over your tent a little bit.
The one thing I would say in that is it's the same pitch size as last year? Is it a 6x6 pitch?
I believe so. It's coming up somewhere on you.
So last year, for example, we both have the same tents, as you might have seen or will see. So we had the gazebo in between our 2 tents. Our tents are 2 meters wide, roughly. So and they're about 6 meters long, call it. So we knew that we had that space in between the tents to put a bit of protective shade up. So we were well within our 6 meter by 6 meter pitch. So they're not going to ask you to take your gazebo down.
Just be respectful.
Well, if you're within your pitch size, you've got that. You're expected to have that. You also people need the outside space, especially in accessibility as well. We're talking about if you bring a 9 meter by 3 meter gazebo, like a long one, they might tell you to Foxtrot Oscar with that, which is fair enough, I think, to be fair. But if you've got like a 2.5 by 2.5 or a 3 by 3, you'd be fine with that. And I mean, the one added benefit with the drop off is you can bring more. So last year we bought a toilet tent. We'll be bringing that again. I need to add that to my Amazon cart because I don't know where ours is. But literally, so a toilet tent, and I've got a Thetford toilet, which is like a mini porta toilet, used for number ones only. But it also saves everyone walking to the toilet between our 2
It's
tents.
not nice to carry, so be prepared.
It's a little bit weighty to carry.
Me and Pete's carried it many times, and
it does stink, yes.
That's what's supposed to.
But it was sunny last year, so it was hot, and urine in sun smells. So, but yeah, that was really beneficial. I noticed other people did that as well. But obviously, with the drop off, you have that facility to do so. So it is well worth doing it. And in terms of disposal, we just chucked it into the porta toilet. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. However, kind of made sense.
Yeah. And then so mobility scooters, obviously the download don't
Fine.
handle that, so make sure you make your arrangements before that and well in advance as well. Deaf customers, then BSL interpreting services will be available, but obviously they'll be provided on request, so obviously that needs to go in. I'm assuming that'll be done on the applications as well, so
Honestly, no idea.
no, I haven't got
They
a
have them
clue.
on the main stage though,
Yeah.
all the time, I think.
Yeah, so they will be there, they will be available, which I think is great because they look like they're having a blast. These,
Oh, it's class, yeah.
These sign language performances, they look like they're just enjoying it. And do you know what? Good on them. They might not be into that music, but they make what of it. So
Absolutely.
they have some form of dance, I suppose, with it as well, because they get into it. It's
Yeah,
not just moving, it's
100%.
not just doing the gestures; it's performing the song.
Because they have all the lyrics in front of them as well. So, you know,
I think it's fantastic. Sometimes I'm watching them before I'm watching the band.
Have you seen the comedians doing it with the BSL,
no.
where they're...
Yes, I have.
yes.
Yeah.
We won't
they
go
try
into
and
it on
they
here.
try and catch him out. There are comedians in the village. I'm not sure the lineup. I've not really looked. Obviously, assistant dogs will be approved on case by case basis. So if you do need assistance dogs,
I
case by
did
case.
hear there was one last year, but I've
I've never seen them, but it is important to remember you can't stroke them when they're on duty.
Absolutely.
I think you can when they're off duty, but you got to ask.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
But yeah, obviously arriving by car, we just briefly mentioned that. There's internal transport for accessibility customers. We just mentioned a bit of that, so don't panic if you think, oh, I've got to walk all the way to the village.
I think
There
that's-
are the little shuttle carts, buggies.
I think what you said there, if you're not sure, don't panic, don't worry.
Yeah.
I will say, I think the general admission side of the dog squad and just general,
Yeah.
they're nice, but they're a bit clueless.
Yeah.
Accessibility, they might not know, but they will find out. And when they say they'll
Yeah.
find out, they do find out. They're
Yeah.
really good. I mean,
I
actually,
think you went back to one of them one day to find out if they had
a couple of
yeah.
years in a row, so 2023 and 2024, I ended up speaking to, I think she was the West campsite the West camp, or she was senior management at Download. Absolutely fantastic, and I can't remember her name. I didn't see her there last year. I did see her there last year actually at some point in the Access camp, but she's one of the campsite's organisers with Download, and she helped me and Jazz the first year, and then I ended up speaking to her again the second year. We remembered each other, which was quite funny. But she was fantastic. But they were a little bit dopey sometimes on X, Y, and Z, and in general, just be patient. But don't panic if you don't know, especially with the Access stuff. They're really good. They will try and find out
for as best they can.
Yeah. And
But,
if you've got a problem, just let them know, and they will try and help. Will be some things they can't sort out, and it is just like a case of having that awareness of being, you're in a festival. You are in a festival, and they can only make it as accessible as possible. Access can't control the weather.
No.
If it is horrendously muddy, your mobility scooter might not work.
And as you've touched
Even your
on,
hired one might struggle.
And as you've touched on, I can't speak for people in normal camp because there's some form of less respect, I suppose, to some others in some shape or form. I know we're all there together, but when people are getting drunk, they're a different person.
Yeah.
But if you're in Access, clean up your rubbish because it's a slipping hazard. Someone might not be able to see it because they've got some form of impairment. Or,
Keep out the fire lanes.
Yeah.
Don't put your ropes in the fire lanes.
Yeah.
They're pretty hot on that.
Keep
anyway.
your pegs short. Don't have anything sticking out. Don't have strobe lighting on your bloody tent because obviously there's planes and obviously there's people that might be affected by it. But more importantly, just clean up after yourselves. There are skips everywhere, so if you've got someone that can take the rubbish to the skips, do that because one bit of empty crisp packet could cause someone some serious harm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And most importantly, have fun.
Yeah, and if in doubt, speak to the accessibility team, like Pete said. So,
But
they're
have
there to
fun.
help. Yeah,
most
have fun,
importantly.
enjoy yourself, let your hair down.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you found this episode of the Metal Tongue podcast useful, you can follow mine and Jasmine's Access Reviews little TikTok, our little side project.
Reviews, I believe.
JNP Access Reviews, on TikTok, where we go into
a bit more detail of
venues.
your experiences.
Yeah, we did one for Download last year. We found it quite frustrating going to different venues and not knowing what the view's going to be like and that kind of stuff and what getting in's like. So
I suppose the mic setup for this one might be a bit better if you can get it working on your phone with our new gear. Because you do voiceovers on.
No, I don't do it. Only on the first one because it was free.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you could.
We could do, yeah.
could do a bit on that.
But I don't like talking that much, but
I can tell.
Now we're
but,
doing this.
But we've got to do it now, Pete. We've set the stuff in.
We've set the standards. So if you've liked that, JMP Access reviews. That's a shameless plug. Go and check us out. We haven't got that many videos up there because it's only when we go to a new venue.
And we're hopefully going to cover not so much on accessibility because, like Pete said, he's got his own thing on that. But we do want to touch on things from our experiences, I suppose, a little bit, especially download, because it's such a huge thing for some people. Going to a festival is probably the biggest thing that some people can do in their day to day.
Yeah. And just have fun, guys. Yeah. I mean, that's the most important thing. Yes, it can be frustrating at times, and yes, tempers may fray between you and other people, but just enjoy it. You'll have a blast. Honestly, you will. The Access Camp's great.
And if you've never been before and your anxiety's going through the roof, trust me, once you're there and you're amongst your peers, the noise, the people, you're going to feel at home. So if it's your first time, welcome and enjoy.
Welcome to the cult.
Well, welcome home.
Welcome home.
Because that's what it feels like.
Welcome home. Yeah. So, and also, one thing I was going to mention earlier, there is also a download access page on Facebook run by a very lovely lady.
Check it out.
She works very hard and she doesn't get any money or anything in back for doing it, and she's absolutely fantastic.
She's the heart and soul of the accessibility.
She is, absolutely. I'll probably send this to her and ask her if she'd like to post it on there, because it might help some people.
But again, you can ask all the questions.
If you've come here from the page, then you know that's been successful.
But yeah, I mean that page is a lifesaver because everyone's got their own experiences. Everyone's got a story to tell.
Exactly.
But yeah, please check that page out. I think it's great.
And last but not least, we are going to be based in the Access Camp A. If you see us and you want to come and say hi, say hi.
If you recognise us from any of the crap videos we've put up.
Stu's put out, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Come say hi. We're going to be walking around. We might do some weird little interview stuff with people.
Yeah, we might be doing our own little filming, just kind of getting some content out there and having fun ourselves, because this is what we wanted to do this for, was just to get together and have a good chat and talk about shit that we enjoy.
So, without further ado, if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to the Metal Tongue Podcast on your or your international podcast provider, be it Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever it is. Not Apple Music, it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Yeah.
And be sure to check us out on social media at the Metal Tongue Podcast. And I think that does it, doesn't it, Stu?
I think that cuts it.
There's the plugs.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in next time for the Metal Tongue Podcast. Who have you got?
Optimus Primal.
Oh, what's Optimus Primal? What is he?
A gorilla.
He's a gorilla. Does he transform?
Yeah.
What's he from?
Is
it Transformers?
Caleb, come here.
No.
He's from Transformers?
He crawled a jungle.
He's from the jungle.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's your favourite song, Caleb?
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, but what song? What does it go like? It doesn't go like Peacock.
That's good.
For context, Stu, his favourite song at the moment is New Divide by Linkin Park.
I think I got that from that bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? So give me reason. Caleb!
There's also a dog breathing into the mic.
There is a dog breathing into the mic. Are you hot? Do you want to go to the beach? Go on, let's get you to the beach.
Go to the beach?
Fuck off, Stu.
I will now.
Longest outtake ever.